Sharia law has no place in Texas. They voted resoundingly, like, I mean, I think it was like 95% to basically stop Islam in Texas. So Texas really has an Islam problem. And hopefully this will set a precedence by them voting in the primary, the people of Texas, probably within 2027, we'll start to see some movement in that area. Of course, that's when, you know, all the politicians are being elected, and we're going to talk about that. It looks like the howdy, Katie, and all you guys from Tejas. Yes, good turnout for Texans. I was hoping that Texas would answer Texans. I was hoping that Texas would answer these questions about Islam. And Islam was allowed to come into Texas under the cover of being, you know, good citizens, and they've taken advantage of Texas. You don't mess with Texas, all right? So Texas is basically, I think, showing the world. Definitely the U.S. and the world, that, you know, Islam has no place. Radical Islam has no place in, you know, people of strong moral character and values and so forth. So as we're seeing right now in the Middle East with Iran, we're destroying the heart of Islam, radical Islam, and people are rejoicing everywhere, right? People are loving President Trump. Let's look what the Iranians are doing. They're dancing in the streets. They're doing the YMCA dance. They're doing the, you know, President Bush dance, or not, I mean, President Trump dance, President Bush, whatever you say that. But, you know, it's definitely going to be very favorable going forward for America and the world. Iranians from across the world have thanked U.S. President Donald Trump by doing his iconic dance following the lethal strikes on Iran. All right, so Khomeini has definitely gone bye-bye. I think he was gone for quite some time. They had probably a double or whatever, but whoever was playing that role, they're gone, right? So we're going to see a lot more of that going forward, where how much of, you know, the things that we're seeing are, you know, staged, how much is real. Regardless, Iran is basically, the regime of Iran is going to be replaced, right? I've said for months that Pasha, the Crown Prince, would come in and would take over that role, but only for a short period of time before Iranians decide, you know, what their future is going to be. And America is not going to get involved in that, right? So America wants the best for Iranians, and they want the best world, and we're doing that. We're helping pretty much everybody all over the world right now. But I think that has great implications for America going forward, as far as like being a powerhouse. You know, I think that there's nothing that's going to be more powerful than America going forward. All of the patents and so forth that have been suppressed, the free energy, Tesla technologies, and you know, all the things for medical that are going to come out. Some of them already, of course, coming out with you know, LifeWave, the stuff that I promote. So it is definitely moving towards you know, a renaissance, like I've said for years now, a renaissance in consciousness. So it's very It's very exciting. But the old system had to be replaced, right? It had to be replaced. Of course, President Trump is definitely the president of peace. He tried to do that peacefully. It didn't work out. So sometimes when things don't work peacefully, you have to get a little bit more aggressive, and that's kind of what we've done. We got a little more aggressive, and so we're taking down a regime that was, you know, horrible for the world for a long time. Now, the Iranian ballistic missiles that were shot on the first day, you look at the trajectory of their missiles and how they're firing them. Starting to get a lot less. All right, 350 on the first evening, 175 the next day, 120 the next day, 50. Yesterday. What's today going to be? Remains to be seen. But in the trajectory we're looking at, pretty soon they're not going to have any more missiles. They have a lot of drones. Russia has been, using a lot of their drones in Ukraine to great effect. But every time those drones are launched or anything's launched, there's a satellite that's watching over Iranian airspace. And once it launches, there's a signal that's sent to waiting aircraft that send a missile right back to that launch before that missile even, or that drone even gets to where it's going, right? So they're destroying all the launch pads and all that stuff for a lot of these different, munitions that Iran has. They don't have much left, right? And maybe they pull something out of their sleeve, a onesie or a twosie here and there. But for the most part, every day, they're getting just decimated, annihilated, their military and so forth. Now, I think there is a possibility that we'll start to see some ground operations from the Kurds, and also from maybe the Pakistanis. I don't know. Pakistan, I spend a lot of time there. I don't have a lot of faith in the Pakistanis, but maybe if they see an opportunity, they'll take advantage of it. They're like that. So, but the Kurds, I guess the CIA is, arming them. I've worked with the Kurds before. They're great fighters. They could make a foray while the United States is bombing. We did the same thing in Afghanistan. Remember the horse soldiers? So the horse soldiers came in and called in fire on the Afghan, baddies, all right, the Taliban, and they were decimated, all right. They drove halfway across the country, and then the Marines came in and finished the job. But we could easily see, the Kurds come in, and with American superior firepower, we could drive the Iranians. And I've heard some CIA and former colonels and so forth. They're all anti-Trump, and they talk a bunch of shit. I don't know. I guess those guys weren't really in combat before. So I have been. I've seen this stuff. We're kicking their friggin' asses, right? And we're going to continue to kick their asses, and we're going to drive them wherever we want to drive them. I don't know how you can't see that. I see some of these guys are like, Trump didn't have any kind of plan or whatever. It's a brilliant plan. It's like a brilliant plan that is being, processed all around the world, not just in Iran right now. So it's going to be phenomenal going forward. Now, in the meantime, just yesterday on the 3rd, we started some actions in Ecuador. So Ecuadorian U.S. military forces launched operations against designated terrorist organizations in Ecuador. So I've said this for a long time before I even left the military. When I was at SEAL Team 4, we were already starting to see that Central and South America were being invaded by Hezbollah and Hamas terrorist groups. So, that's a long time ago. That's, 20 plus years ago. So they have been able to root into a lot of these different countries, and we're going to go clean them all out. Their operations are a powerful example of the commitment of partners in Latin America and the Caribbean to combat the scourge of narco-terrorism, because that's how they make their money, so they can gain power, so they can do terrorist attacks, gain more power, terrorize the citizenship, so that they can control them. So this is the thing that Hamas and Hezbollah have done everywhere they've gone. And who has supported them financially? Iran, right? So this is the time that actually over the last several months, Iran has been cash strained because the United States have been restricting them and hammering them and so forth in a lot of different ways. The same thing is happening to China. All right, so the U.S. is squeezing China everywhere. So eventually, China is going to pop as well. Now, will there be major military operations against China? Is there going to be major military operations against Iran? No. Is there going to be major military operations against Mexico? No. Are there going to be? But there are some. Are there going to be major military operations against Cuba? Probably almost nothing, right? So it's going to be so easy to take Cuba down. All right, so a lot of these countries with U.S. help are going to be replacing their criminal organizational governments. So I would love to see this start to happen in Europe, in the UK and in France and in Germany. So the criminal organizations that are running those countries, they need to be taken down as well. I don't know how that's going to pan out, but eventually it's going to happen, right? Now, as far as like the market and so forth, the market seems to have recovered today. I said yesterday, because President Trump has said that he's going to help with shipping in around the Straits of Hormuz and have naval aircraft and naval ships basically cover ships as they go through. That seems to have, helped the market. The market's up pretty nice today, actually pretty staggeringly up, right? In some cases. All right, let's look a little bit at that. So as you guys see here, this is the NASDAQ. The NASDAQ, as you guys can see, it gapped up and just kept going up. Just a few days ago when, on Monday, as you guys see here, it gapped down. So now it's recovered that gap and a lot more. So we're looking at, this probably continuing, I think, through the weekend. We'll also see U.S. oil start to pull back like it's doing. The dollar is pulling back. And now we're going to start to see silver start to get a little bit of a bid again. So it's recovered slightly after falling also precipitously. As you guys can see here, it got hammered just like everything else. And now it's starting to creep back up, right? So gold maintained pretty good. Platinum's back up. Now this is the real winner, Bitcoin and crypto, up massively today, almost 8% on Bitcoin. Catching a 5,443 bid as we're speaking, almost $200 on Ethereum, up 10%. So XRP up 9 cents, up 7.5%. So we're seeing the markets recover. Could there be something that might happen that could put a little bit more fear back in the market? Anything's possible, but I don't think so. Personally, I think that we've seen the worst of it, and from here on, we're going to start to normalize to a great extent and take down more and more of the deep state throughout the world. So it is looking quite magnificent. Now, Texas, like I said, roars. Landslide vote, 95% landslide vote. I'm very proud of Texas. Very good job. I talked about this, that the Islamists are a massive threat to America and the world. So Texas says in a 95% landslide vote to ban Sharia law. So the Rare Foundation, USA's relentless exposes ignite historic victory. So they've come in and basically have been, showing, how these towns basically come in, these Sharia towns. They exclude everybody else. It's not unconstitutional, and it's not the way America is, right? So America is all embracing, like we embrace the Muslims to come in here, but they have taken advantage of us, and that's going to stop, right? So here it is. Texas should prohibit Sharia Islamic law. And people came out, as you guys can see, and said resoundingly, absolutely restrict Sharia. The proposition, one of 10 non-binding advisory questions included on the Republican primary ballot, function as an opinion poll intended to guide the Texas GOP's legislative priorities heading into the 2027 legislative session. So a lot of stuff was, has been revealed over the last several months in Texas. I've been saying this for years, but it's good to see a lot of people are jumping on board and sounding the alarm. So hundreds of investigative reports and documentary videos mapping the scale and coordination of ideological and terror-linked networks operating in the United States, not just Texas, but throughout the United States, including the explosive proliferation of mosques, over 330 in Texas alone, often functioning as ideological and political hubs rather than mere places of worship. That would be acceptable, but they want to take down America, guys. I've been around Islamists for at least half my life, and 35 years, more than half my life, and they're not pro anything but their religion, and they want to infiltrate and take down every country they come into, and usually those countries collapse after they do. All right, Texas hosts the highest concentration nationwide, with more than 650 Islamic nonprofit organizations, many serving as fronts for foreign-funded agendas and coordinated influence. Sharia-compliant financial structures embedding interest-free banking and halal mandates into mainstream commerce and institutions, and large-scale community development projects engineered as self-contained Sharia enclaves, such as mosque-centered cities with residential, educational, commercial, and governance components designed to operate under Islamic norms and resist integration. So there's a lot more that's in this. They're investigating foreign funding flows, working with community leaders and policymakers and grassroots activists to build cross-faith coalitions, raise awareness. So we're going to push back on this, and we will collapse radical Islam but we had to go and destroy the base of it, which was in Iran, right? So the funding mechanism for a lot of this is very important, and we're doing the hard work. So, Katie, yes, unfortunately, that might make us more of a target, though. Yes, it is going to make us more of a target because, like I've said for several years, we will see attacks in America, and a lot of that will be from Islamic terrorists that have been allowed to come in here by the Democrat Party. All right. So the midterm primaries, North Carolina did a lot of primaries. Texas, of course, did a lot of primaries. Very interesting things happened in Texas. All right. So Texas, again, don't mess with Texas. Dan Crenshaw loses Texas GOP primary. He's a bad seal. I've said it for years, and looks like he's bye-bye now. So that's a good thing. So Representative Steve Toth, double-digit upset on Crenshaw. And so that's a good thing, and we're going to see more of that, I think, going forward. The baddies that are in our government basically being taken down. There was some other upsets on the Democrat side. We'll see, how that balances out going forward. Some of the radicals that are in Texas, Texans, even Democrats are like, no more of that. All right, so we're seeing, this turnaround that's gonna happen throughout our country and the world. So Trump poised to invoke Defense Production Act to boost munitions production for Iran war. Now, I'm of the opinion that it's not just for the Iran war. They're using that as, a jumping off narrative, but very possibly, like we're seeing down in South America, there could be, more things that have to happen, like in Mexico, munitions into Mexico, right? Munitions like we're seeing into Ecuador, and who knows how many other, South American and Central American countries that are going to need a little help to get rid of their terrorist organizations that are running their countries or are trying to impose themselves, like the terrorist organizations in Texas are trying to impose themselves on Texas, right? So they've done a pretty good job in Wisconsin or Minnesota. Minnesota, keep going. Minnesota, and the crazy, pirates from Somalia made massive headway, and they're stealing the crap out of Wisconsin and Minnesota. Wisconsin too, I'm sure, because just about all that area, Michigan, Wisconsin, you got all those places are just, Sharia and up, right? So there's going to be a turn back with all that, pushback, and the pushback we'll see what happens. All right, so the United States is, like I said, is kicking some serious butt, and we're going to see the first use of a torpedo on a ship since World War II.
In the Indian Ocean, and we'll play it on the screen there, an American submarine sunk an Iranian warship that thought it was safe in international waters. Instead, it was sunk by a torpedo. Quiet death. The first sinking of an enemy ship by a torpedo since World War II. Like in that war, back when we were still the War Department, we are fighting to win.
All right, so that's a boom. All right, that's another bye-bye. Right? Another, I don't know how many, I think they've sunk every one of the Iranian ships by now. I think they even, maybe even a submarine was, I was talking about how they got a submarine lurking out there. I think I saw somewhere where they actually got that too. So it's very, very interesting to see, how, these people will come out and say that the Trump administration doesn't know what they're doing and they don't have a plan. I'm like, wow. And I think at some point I'm going to have to start calling these people out or talking shit, right? So, and so that they can be not followed anymore, right? So a lot of people have been following them for quite some time. I actually followed them for a period of time, and then and they seem to be all about Trump, and then Trump got into office and they're like anti-Trump. I'm like, what? It's like, wow. So very interesting. So we'll definitely see a lot of people get exposed. Now you guys know that I said that I was sending the love vibration to a lot of people out there within governors and so forth. Colorado government Jared Polis was one of them. So what has Jared Polis just recently said? That he is looking at freeing Tina Peters within the next week or so. Wow. So that love vibration does have its effect. You can either go bye-bye because you're obviously influenced by demonic forces, or you can break free and do the right thing. So it looks like Jared Polis, good for him, is going to do that. We'll see. He might be talking smack, and then he, recants, and then finds a reason why he's not going to do that. But as of now, he is looking to set Tina Peters free. So, and that could happen, I guess, anytime now within the next week or two. So, very, very amazing. I've said the love vibration does have an effect, and we're going to see that. We're going to see a lot of people just go away. They're just going to go away. And now this is very interesting. I've done this. I followed this for quite some time. I like to share occasionally some things that make you go, and get you thinking. All right. So this is a 1963 where this gentleman had his chickens. I think this is in Turkey. Had his chickens disappearing, and so he's like, what the hell? So he, busted down the wall, and he found underground chambers that went into massive cities underground. They found, I think at this point, up to 200 different cities underground. So, we've talked about dumbs, and I think dumbs are not anything new. They've been used for thousands of years. So this is a real quick, take, and I think it's something we all should be aware of. That sometimes, the world does have, like I've been warning, does have, some very radical things it does, and causes devastation. I think we could be moving in that era of radical earth transformations, but who knows? Maybe they won't happen because our consciousness is changing.
63. In a small Turkish town, a man noticed his chickens kept vanishing through a thin crack in his basement. Annoyed and curious, he smashed through the wall to get them back, but instead discovered a dark passage. He followed it downward, level after level, nearly 18 stories deep, and realized he had uncovered a vast underground city, hidden for centuries. The place was Derinkuyu, a massive complex carved into volcanic rock. About 85 meters deep, it could shelter nearly 20,000 people for months without ever seeing sunlight. This wasn't just a cave, it was a working city, complete with ventilation shafts, water wells, chapels, stables, and kitchens designed to hide smoke from the outside world. Huge circular stone doors, weighing around half a ton, could be sealed from the inside for protection. Who built it? Some historians trace its earliest origins to the Hittites nearly 4,000 years ago, while others believe the Phrygians expanded it later. It later sheltered Christians fleeing persecution under the Roman Empire, and Byzantine Christians hiding from raids during the Byzantine Empire. When danger arrived.
So, I think, Texans, they won't have to go into underground shelters against the Muslims, because I think they're going to push back right now. But, throughout history, there have been, different groups that have had to, shelter. The Romans weren't so happy with the Christians initially, but they got used to them. And, Constantine's like, okay, you guys are cool. We'll let you stay. And, we won't, brutalize you anymore. So it became the religion of the empire eventually. So now, will that happen with Islam? Absolutely not. It will never happen with Islam. Christianity is a great religion. There are good aspects of Islam, but I think it's dark for the most part. And then we have Judaism, great. Of course, the Khazarian Jews came in and built a facade saying that they're Jewish, but they're very evil, and that gives the Jews a bad name. And then you have the Hindus, and then you have the Buddhist, probably about 5,000 other religions out there that we don't know about. But all of them, as long as they, are seeking inner truth for their people and are peaceful for the most part, I think they go forward for a fairly good extent. Then eventually, I think people are going to see most religions as a barrier to actually connecting with and seeking and connecting with the Creator and so forth. So Islam doesn't go forward, I don't think. So that's just my opinion. But I've seen Islam probably more than most people have, and it's not so good, right? So this is some things that have happened in the past.
Entire villages vanished underground, sealing the entrances in silence while invaders searched empty streets above. Daringkuyu was not alone. Archaeologists discovered it linked by a 5-kilometer tunnel to Kaimakli, and more than 200 underground cities have since been found in the region. A forgotten world rediscovered only because one farmer went searching for his missing chicken.
All right. So how crazy, right? For how long had that been, undiscovered? And the people came out, just sealed it back up, and no one found it again for, who knows, maybe thousands of years. So, you go back in time to times where there were massive earth changes, all the way back to Atlantean times. So we're looking at 10 to 12,000 years ago. It's a long time. So would they be revealed to be that old? They say it's like they guess that it was the 5,000-year-old Hittites, but I don't know. I think it's a lot older than that. All right, guys. Lots of things are coming that's going to change our world. Lots of interesting and fascinating things that will be revealed. At some point, of course, the alien disclosure comes in. That's the biggie, right? That's going to be the biggie. And that's going to be manipulated for both sides, the baddies and the good guys, trying to make the best of that and using that information to try and take down the other side. So we've heard about, fake alien invasions, all that kind of stuff. Could still see that. But I think for the most part, we're going to see good reveals that are going to come, faster and faster. We've seen, we've been bringing them out, piece by piece over the years, but the reveals are going to really start to pick up pace, right? And I will be part of that. All right. All right. Stay in the love vibration. We'll see you guys next time.